Welcome back to another Summit Conversations video. When I started this series, it was originally for me to share little snippets of what I was doing in my own summits and uncovering as I worked with our clients. And sometimes I stray from that and bring up new topics, but we are returning to the heart of it today because my team and I are in the preliminary stages of planning our next summit, which means I get to bring you behind the scenes as we go. These videos are the most fun for me to record and outline, so I hope you like them too. But let me know if there's anything specific you would like to hear about when it comes to our events. And for this summit that we have coming up, I am not quite ready to share any details yet, but I thought it would be fun to share what we've been doing kind of accidentally as we are getting ready to really dive into planning within the next couple weeks here, really after we wrap up the challenge that we're hosting this week, and then I take a few days out of the office. But I kind of love that I have other things going on right now and haven't been able to start the summit because it's allowing me to take it kind of slow with those initial plans. I can't dive in yet, so I found that ideas are just kind of coming to me throughout my day when I'm not trying to force them. And it's really nice. I know some of you are like, yeah, you should do that. But I don't. I start projects quickly and we go all in. So this has been a very different change of pace for me. But I want to share the 5 main things I've done so far as we've started to move toward making the summit happen. So I'm going to just walk through those. The first thing I did when I made the decision, okay, a summit is what our next main project is going to be, is that I checked with our team. Now, I don't feel like I need to ask their permission to do things or anything like that. It's more because I really respect them a lot, and they all have different viewpoints of what's going on with our team and our clients and our company. So I wanted to see if they had any hesitations about a summit being our next project. Is there anything capacity related that you think we need to worry about? Is there anything that you think is more important than the summit that we need to be working on? And after we talked about a few things and we all agreed hey, a summit is a great move for us, we were able to move forward a little bit. And from there, I shared my plan with them for what the summit would be, and basically a rebrand and upgrade of an event we've run multiple times before. But it just came to me when I was not sitting and racking my brain about what we should do. So I had the idea for the overall audience and topic, and then a couple days later the idea for the name came to me. I was like, oh my gosh, this right here is a summit. From there I talked with Ellie, who is a member of my team who is really good with positioning and messaging and copy. She's actually the lead positioning and copy coach in the Launch with a Summit Accelerator. So I go to her with my own positioning stuff too. So I chatted with her about the overall positioning to make sure it got her thumbs up, and it did. And then kind of once I knew that it was going to be a rebrand rather than just a rinse and repeat of a summit we've done before, I did another gut check with the team just because doing that kind of doubles the amount of non-speaker related work. So I wanted to make sure it all checked out, but they're all very on board with the updates we're going to make. So that was exciting. And I kind of consider that the first step I took, running it by the team, kind of getting approval with the idea and the messaging and all of that. The second thing I did was choose a general start date, and I think it's going to be our final start date. But I knew about what time of the year I wanted it to be. I had a general idea of when, kind of within a 2-ish month span. So what I did was check what else is going on for myself and the team during that time. Does the team have any weeks where they're going to be out of office? Do I have any time that's going to be out of the office? Are there any holidays or anything else I need to worry about? And I saw that, oh wow, I'm going on a cruise in the later part of that time period, so let's not do it then. I was thinking I noticed that the earlier part of that time period wouldn't even give us enough time to plan, so we kind of went with the middle ground there, so that our planning won't be crunched, but I will also have a couple weeks to let things settle after the summit, and then I get away for a week with my family, which is kind of a perfect way to reset afterwards. So all of that worked out nicely. That was step number 2. Step 3 then, once I knew the date, was have Kate create our project plan. So in Summit in a Box and in the Launch with a Summit Accelerator, we give our clients a full step-by-step project plan. Here are the 300 plus tasks you need to complete with all the templates and scripts and trainings and everything you need along the way. We also use that for our own summit. So she went into our program, got the project plan, set the date, and it calculates all the due dates and everything. So that gives us a visual of actually being able to see it in Asana, is the tool we use. So in our Asana calendars, does this still look reasonable? Especially with the holidays in the mix, our whole team takes off 2 weeks in there, so we wanted to make sure it all still looked good. So our project plan is there, ready and waiting for us. The fourth thing I did then was think about any extra help we would want to bring on. I have a very built out team, like anything tech or admin related is covered by Kate and Jen. Ellie can help with a lot of positioning and messaging and some of the smaller copy things, just based on her capacity. My Kate and Jen can worry about like website stuff. The gap I noticed with their availability and my own was the new copy. Since we were like totally rebranding this summit, I wanted it to really have an up-leveled feel. So I reached out to Nadine at Can Do Content. She has done all of the copy for our lots of projects. And like, if we're going to rebrand this summit, I want it to be good. I can do an okay job writing copy, but like, I know I don't have the capacity for it. And I don't want it to just be like a obviously AI written summit registration page. I've seen way too many of those lately. So I'm bringing her on to help us with the registration page copy, probably the registration sequence and things like that. But I think she's the only person we'll have to bring on outside of my core team. And the reason I like to reach out to her early is because if she's booked out months in advance, that means we need to either revisit our date or find someone else, which I just don't want to do. So I wanted to reach out to her right away. And then the fifth thing I did came as a result of recording a podcast episode last week with Joey Vitale from Indie Law. That episode sadly isn't coming out till like March, but you'll get a little preview here. So Indie Law does all of our trademarks. They are amazing, so good at what they do, the best customer service I've ever seen with like a law firm like that. But he talked about how important it is to look into trademarks in the very beginning of your summit planning process. First, to make sure you're not going to infringe on anyone else's trademark with your summit, which I have done. I have gotten a cease and desist after running the second or third round of one of my summits, and I had to completely rebrand it, and it was not fun. So I reached out to them to make sure I wasn't stepping on anyone's toes. And then second, like to protect the name. So the name I actually came up with for the summit, and I can't even say I came up with it. It just like appeared in my brain. But it's a phrase I use a lot. So if it is trademarkable, I want to trademark it. So I kind of reached out to them to start that process as well of, making sure we're not going to be making anyone else upset, but also so we can protect this brand moving forward if we are able to. And from there, like those are the main things I did. And now I just kind of have the freedom to let the ideas simmer until I can really dive into the planning. I think in about 2 weeks is when that's going to start. And like, I know some of you do just want to like dive in head first and not start slow like this. I think that's totally okay. That is how I start pretty much all of my projects. But if you know a summit is on the horizon and you have other projects wrapping up before you can start planning that, I think these are some great things to be thinking about in the meantime so that when you do start, you can start really efficiently and effectively. So like, what do you want the summit to do for you and your business? Think about what will the event audience and topic be? What are possible names for it? What support will be helpful for you to make it happen, both in terms of like getting the best results and in terms of your capacity and making it feel easier and more doable for you. So I'd be thinking about those things and like, don't force it, but give yourself the space to let those kinds of ideas flow. I just have a note in my notes app on my phone where I just like jot down ideas as they come to me. And it's so much nicer than like sitting here at my desk with my, pen trying to force an idea to come. That's not how it usually happens, right? And things like the audience and topic and name and more in-depth things like that, I think they're things that I'm able to just like make up out of thin air because I have such a deep understanding of what goes into good summit positioning. I wouldn't necessarily expect you to be able to do that same thing. Like those are things we work very closely with our clients in the Launch with a Summit Accelerator on. We'd love to work with you in that capacity and offer you the support in the way of coaching, copy templates, graphic templates, trainings, processes you need, like everything you need to get your event up and running. So please feel free to reach out or use the link below this video to apply if you would like that kind of support. But also as for positioning, you can check out episode 237 of the Summit Host Hangout podcast, where I talked with Ellie, our positioning coach, about her 4-step process for positioning your summit. So I will link to that below this video as well, so you have a resource to go to if you are thinking about a summit in the near future. So let me know in the comments if you had any takeaways, but also if you like to take it slow when you start a new project or dive right in. I kind of want to give myself more freedom to start projects slowly after this, but I don't know. I kind of doubt my ability to make it happen, but we'll see. But thank you so much for tuning in. I'm excited to give you some more behind the scenes looks of our summit in the coming months.